Welcome to episode 7 of the Game Caddie tutorials. I'm Scott Moeller, and in this video we're going to look at several things. Handling bad lies, using the ball on green tool as a shortcut, manually entering results when you get a text-based result, sometimes called an absolute outcome. Note that while everything covered in this video involves greenside bunker shots, the same principles apply to lies in the intermediate rough, and trees. This video was originally released as episode 15 in the first set of tutorials that appeared here on the Game Caddie channel. The version of the Game Caddie seen here is 2.5, but everything works exactly the same in versions 3.0 and higher. In this video, we want to cover in some detail the Lies tab, and in particular, the greenside bunkers. With most of the other lie conditions that we have, you can almost always resolve the outcome of the shot by clicking on a blue box. But with the greenside bunker board, while we have more blue boxes in version 2.5 of the Game Caddie, there still are a fair number of absolute outcomes, and those are the ones that are shaded here in red. And people often get confused about how to handle those, either in terms of the APBA Master Game rules or the Game Caddie itself. So I'm going to go ahead and take several shots from the greenside bunker, and I will play them out just as I would as if I were playing an actual round of golf following the APBA Master Game rules. And there's going to be an element of chance involved here because I'm not going to cherry pick the examples that I show you. I'm going to click on the dice roller, and whatever comes up, comes up. If I get too many sort of easy outcomes, I may ignore some of them in order to show you some of the more difficult ones and how you handle those. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and put John Rahm in as our golfer for this particular tutorial, and I've placed him on the Magnolia course at hole number 6, which is a par 3 of 180 yards, and I've selected a difficult pin placement, which is number 2. His ball location for his tee shot put him at 155 left 5. So we can see from that he is short-sighted, and that means that he's going to need to shoot for the center line, but he's also in the sand here in that bunker. So what we need to do is come over to the Lies tab before we do anything and find out what kind of lie he's got. So I'm going to go ahead and roll the dice here, and we get a 16. Now, a 16 is a good outcome, meaning that the lie has no effect on his shot. We can go ahead and take that shot as we normally would. I will do that just for the sake of demonstrating that one time, and we'll then go back here to the Caddy tab. We notice that he is 35 yards away from the target in this case, which would be at 190 on the center line. Remember, he's short-sighted, so he has to shoot for the center line. Now, I don't particularly like that location. It puts him pretty far to the edge of the green, so if he hits it too far, he's not going to end up on the green. So I'm going to change this 190 to a 180. He's still on the center line, and now his call distance is 25 yards. We'll be using the same approach board that we would have used if we had left it where it was, but now his target is at 180, And in this situation, he's not far enough away for the wind to make any difference. So the expected destination, if he hits the shot perfectly, is at 180 on the center line, which puts us essentially in the middle of the green. Still going to be pretty far away from the actual pin location, which is left 15 in this case, right? But when you're short-sighted, and there's not much you can do about it when you're this close. If you had been farther back, 75 yards or more, we could have worked the ball, but we can't do that in this instance. So we've now got a called distance of 25 yards. This is the board that we'll use. Come over here, and I'm not going to use a sand point, even though John Rahm has to, because I want to demonstrate, again, some of the more difficult things. Click on the roller, is a 25. In the A column, that turns out to be a 3 from the sand. Now, we don't have a blue box here in this column, the sand column, so we can't click on it, or we can click on it, but it's not going to do anything that will be helpful. But the result is 0, and we have the option of moving the ball to the 5 yards to either the right or the left, and we'll definitely choose the left since that's the side that the pin is on. So the way that we handle that is come back here to the Caddy tab, and we notice that he'll be at 180, and he'll end up at 180 left 5. If you want to have the Game Caddie calculate all that out for you, you certainly can do that. But as an alternative, and what I tend to do, is just look at the course board and see where 180 left 5 is. Where does that put him? And then I just count out the diagonals. So we've got, and straight lines. So he's 2 diagonals away from the center line. From the pin location. So all I'm going to do, I'm not going to fool with this anymore. I can just eyeball it and see where he is. I'm going to come down here, put 2 in for the diagonals. I'm going to hit the calc button. It's going to tell me that we're 29 feet from the pin. And in order for that stroke to register, we need to click on the ball on green tool. That's the shortcut for doing it. And when we do that, it's going to put our pin, it's going to put our ball at the pin location at 190 left 15. Of course, that's not where the ball is, but this is a shortcut tool. And we don't actually care. What we care about is the 29 feet here. That's what the Game Caddie understands now as this distance from the pin. Okay, at this point, we were ready to go ahead and putt out, and all we need to do is click on this button here, Players to Putting Boards, and we could proceed with that. But what we're going to do instead, because we want to focus on the greenside bunkers here, is we're going to go ahead and erase that shot, and we want to get rid of shot number 2. And it's going to ask me when to clear the putting distance, and yes, we do. Okay, so we're right back where we started at 155 left 5. Let's go back to the Lies tab and see what the next outcome is. So I got a 12, and the numbers 11 through 14 on the first roll for the greenside bunker lie are handled differently than the numbers 53 through 66. For these numbers down here, once you do your roll, and that's the outcome that you get of your dice roll, you click on the button right away. But when you get a roll that's 11 to 14, you don't do that. For those results, you take the shot first. I won't get into the technical reasons why that's the case, but it just has to do with the way that the Game Caddie handles the math. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and take the shot, but this is in essence a favorable lie. This is a better than normal lie. This would be a normal lie here. This is better than normal because we're going to be able to reduce the outcome, assuming that we hit the ball on the green. We're going to be able to reduce that putt distance by half, and we'll have the Game Caddie handle that math for us. So we're going to come back here to the Caddy 1 tab, We'll take the shot. Now, because we know that we are in a perhaps a little bit more favorable position, and we can be a little bit less concerned about how far away we are from the pin location, we could get a little bit aggressive in how we played this. And I'm going to change the target now from 190. Oh, let's just say it's 185 here. And that means that our call distance is now 30 yards. It doesn't change anything in terms of our board result, but hopefully it will help us in terms of where we ultimately end up. So I'll click on this approach board again, 25 to 45. And we'll click on this to see what happens. We've got a 62 here on Rom's card. Again, a 62 is a 3 on his card. So we have the same kind of result where we're going to be 5 yards at our discretion to the right or the left. I'll go ahead and take that because it's going to change a couple things here in terms of the math. So 185 left 5 puts us at 1 diagonal and 1 straight away. Notice I'm not fooling around with trying to get the Game Caddie to locate us. Absolutely doesn't matter. I can eyeball it. I can figure that out. I'm 1 straight. I'm 1 diagonal. I'm going to go ahead and click this button. And now it says 28 feet. It's got me at 28 feet. Well, even I'm smart enough to know that it's going to be 14 feet when we reduce that by half, but let's have the Game Caddie go ahead and do that. I'll click on the Lies tab, and now we'll click on the 11 to 12 blue box. Remember, our original roll was a 12, and the result has been entered on Caddie 1, and we'll come back to Caddie 1, and that 28 should be a 14. And that's what it is. Now, if you wanted to manually overwrite this, you absolutely could do that. So if instead of doing what I just did, you want to come over here and say, well, 28 divided by 2, that's 14. I'll just skip clicking on that blue box. You can do that. But don't forget to click on the ball on green tool here so that you record this, the shot. Shots don't get recorded until something appears here in the lie column. Okay, and now we've got the ball on the green and we're ready to putt out. I'll go ahead and erase that shot, and we'll come up with our next scenario here. And we're going to go ahead and clear that putting distance. Go back to the Lies tab one more time. Trying to get one. Yes, okay, so now we've got one that's 50, a roll of 54. I'm going to go ahead and click on the blue box here. Now, what this means is, this +6 means is that whatever our shot result is, that we need to add 6 feet to it, the Game Caddie will do that for us if we click on this blue box. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. The value is recorded directly on the Caddie. Now, we're not done with the shot. We haven't taken the shot yet. But we are going to go back to the Caddie tab. And you'll notice that for right now, there's a 6 in the putt distance column. But we're not done. I'm going to change the target back to 180 again because I want this shot to be sure to land on the green. We have a call distance of 25. Come over here and click on that board. We'll take the shot. Maybe we'll get something different than a 3 as the result, but we don't. And so, we've kind of, well, let's go ahead and do this because, again, there may be things that are instructive for people to see more than once. All right, so there's no blue box for here for us to click on here, but we've got a result of 0. We're going to go left 5 again, come back to the Caddie tab that's here. And what I'm going to do is, we're at 180, so 180 left 5 again. If you remember, that's 2 diagonals. This time what we're going to do is put that 5 yards left into the Game Caddie by way of the approach caddy here. So for those folks that like to know exactly what their ball location is, here's the way that you can do that. So again, our shot result was 0 left 5, right or left 5. We're going to choose left 5 because that's to our advantage. So in this box here, I'm going to put a 5. And you'll notice that what that does is it now has the ball positioned at 180 left 5, both in the approach caddy and up here at the new ball location. These two should always match one another. Now, instead of using the ball on green tool as we have been doing, what I'm going to do is show you another way that you can do this. I'm going to click on the calc button. Notice we've still got our putt distance here of plus 6 feet. We're 2 diagonals away. It's registered now into the putting caddy. I'll click on the calc button and it comes up with 31 feet. It adds the 6 down here to 37 feet. Instead of clicking on the ball on green tool, I'm going to click on the update arrow, and the update arrow is more precise than the ball on green tool. It's not a shortcut, so we have to type in the actual ball location, and once we do that, now you'll see that instead of the ball being placed at the pin location, it shows you the precise location of 180 left 5. Doesn't change anything except it erases that putt distance in there. So when you do that, you got to remember to put that number back in. So we type that 37 back in, and now we're ready to go to the putting boards. So I guess the moral of the story is that when you've got the ball on the green, you know where it is on the green. Take your game marker, whatever you use as a ball marker, put it on your APBA course board at the spot where you know the ball to be. Count the diagonals and straights to the pin location, and just bypass the update arrow and use the putting caddy and ball on green tool in combination, and you will find that it goes a lot faster and you're much less likely to make mistakes. All right, let's try another result here. I'm going to go ahead and erase the last shot, and we're going to go ahead and clear the putting distance, and we're going to check our lie again. This is back to the first roll column, and hopefully we'll get a result between 61 and 66 so I can show you something new, and I'm just going to keep rolling until I get one of these numbers to come up. And normally when I'm playing on my own, I'm pretty good at getting bad numbers, but for the sake of the demo, of course, that's not happening. Okay, so I've got a 61 here. So again, this is a first roll. I'm going to click on this blue box for 61 to 62. It says hit shot, then roll under fried egg. When I click on that, what it does is under John Rahm's lie effects dashboard, under the lie type, it records FE for fried egg. And if you're not sure what these abbreviations stand for, you can come over to this chart over here and it will tell you. So that means that we're going to have to come back and take a shot under the fried egg board for when we do a second roll. And we're going to need to decide whether we're going to play safe or play aggressive. Again, for the safe, I almost always play safe because too many bad things can happen when you play aggressive. But I'm going to play aggressive again just for the sake of demonstrating this. So we've got this recorded up here. We're now in a position to be able to go back to the caddy tab and figure out what we're going to target. I'm going to make the target again 180. Again, I could leave it at 190, but I'm going to go ahead and put it at 180 because I want to try to get this shot to end up on the green. And that means our call distance is 25 yards. Come over to this board here, click on that. And now we're going to be playing out of here, and presumably we'll get a shot that's going to give us a different result than what we've been getting. And now we've got a 32, and on Rahm's card in the A column, that's a 13. So we'll come over and click on 13. And we're approaching this from the south. I'll show you what that means in just a second. So he's gone 5 yards farther and 5 yards more to the right. We'll go ahead and transfer the shot. And you can see, so distance 5 yards farther, 5 yards to the right, and he was hitting from the south to the center line. And we now have to go back to the Lies tab and find out what effect, if any, that fried egg has. And we decided to play aggressive, so we'll click on this. We got a 36. Come down here to 36, and that means that it's going to add 16 feet to the result of whatever our shot turns out to be. So I'll click on that 36. Those values are recorded directly on the caddy. I'll come back here. You'll see that that 16 shows up the way that the +6 did in the other instance. And now we need to look at where is 185 right 5, and when we calculate that out, we can see that we are 1 diagonal and 3 straight lines away. Put a 3 in there, a 1 in there. I'll hit the calc button. It says 58 feet, and then it's added that additional 16 feet. So it's now 74 feet away. So that fried egg did not do us any favors. We would click on the ball on green tool, and it would record that shot for us. Okay, one more example here, and hopefully we'll get one that will just be a horrible result, so you can see how the absolute outcomes work. And in fact, I may force this to happen so that we're not spending a lot of time waiting for luck to play its part in it. I'm going to put the target back at 180. Again, our call distance is 25. We'll come back to this board here. Oops, I'm sorry. I meant to go to the Lies board. Let's go to the Lies board. And let's suppose that our result for our first roll had been a 64. So we've got a shot that we have to then hit under a buried lie. And that would be this table here. And these two boards work identically. I mean, the results are different, obviously, but they work the same. So if you know how to do it over here, you know how to do it under the lip as well. So we'll hit a 64. You notice that that records an SB here, which is sand buried. So we've got a buried shot. And I'm just going to suppose that, we had a result that was a green, a 55, a green plus 0 yards, so the nearest point on the green. And let's do something a little bit differently here, so you can figure out how to handle these plus 5 yards and plus 10 yards. So let's say instead of a 55, let's say it was a 54. So we'll get a green plus 5 yards, nearest point on green. Can't click on that, right? So I'm going to have to do this manually. By the way, there are instructions over here that walk you through how to do the things that I'm describing. So if you don't want to go to the trouble of pulling out the user guide and looking it up there, you've got some shortcut steps that you can follow here to accomplish the same thing that I'm talking you through. So we're going to do green plus 5 yards, nearest point on green. All right, come back to the caddy tab. And what we have to do now is look at the APBA course board. And what we're going to see is that from 155 left 5, the closest point on the green from our ball location is 15 yards straight ahead, which would be at 170 left 5. Then we add the additional 5 yards from our result, and that puts us at 175 left 5. And if we count the number of diagonals and straight lines to the pin location, that's 2 diagonals and 1 straight. Put that into the putting caddy, click calc, and we get a result of 44 feet. And then to finish out, click on the ball on green tool to record that shot. Now, you'll notice that in this example, we didn't even actually take the shot, but if we had, we would have ignored whatever that result was because we had a bad lie with an absolute outcome, meaning that we were using one of the red shaded boxes. Okay, now you know how to handle bad lies and special cases. Until next time, grip it and rip it.